Good evening, everybody watching. This is the Creative Burrows Gaming Channel. My name is Isaac, and I'm playing Factorio version 0.17 in experimental beta through Steam. Last episode, we were able to get this wonderful green circuit factory production going. We have discovered that the biters are closer than I had expected, and that they are rushing my factory quite frequently, so I'm going to get a move on here, trying to get down as many helpful structures as I possibly can. And one of the things I want to do is, since I now have these new resources going on here, I want to use them for the betterment of my factory, for the convenience. I want to be able to go to one spot and pick up all my transport belts, splitters, underground belts, my inserters, factories, the assemblers even, for making the different portions of the factory, and so on and so forth. So you can see by the indications down there, we are getting quite a lot of attention from the biters. None of it was, and none of it still is, quite as bad as it was last episode. So hopefully that will continue that way. We'll run back up now that I have, well, at least enough starter belt. I have a decent amount of undergrounds, definitely plenty of inserters, and plenty of assembly machines. Definitely plenty of assembly machines. So I'm going to take a couple seconds here and determine exactly where I want to go with what I'm about to build next. Okay, so I think what I want to do is take a copy of this right here, and we'll paste it over here strictly for spacing issues. Because what I'm going to build is essentially a shopping mall for myself. And this is going to be an arcade of production delights that I can just swing by, pick up what I need, and go about my day. So right here we're going to bring in iron, because one of the first things I am going to need all the time whenever I'm building anything is going to be the most wonderful transport belts. So these are used in underground belts and splitters. Okay, so this is definitely going to be... Actually, I'm going to change this up. That is not the first thing I'm building. Now, the first thing I'm going to build, since I have green circuits here already, is going to be iron gears. And the reason for that is because iron gears are used in just about everything, and they're going to be used frequently throughout this mall. So if I want to keep this efficient at any point, or for any great length of time, instead of making a dedicated gear maker for every machine, I'm going to make a small little sub-assembly of gear makers here. Then we'll just carry the gears back up. I might eventually size this to a point where I will anyways, I might size it to a point where I use these gears. There we go. I just like the spacing there a little better. Where I might use these gears on the bus. So we're going to put this to standard old transport belts. This will become electronic. I know what I'm going to do. Undergrounds, splitters. So right here, because I know I'm going to need them, we are going to put green circuits. And if you are wondering why I haven't just gotten rid of iron boxes, taking them out of my inventory since they're taking up space, then you now have an answer. I have not removed them because this is where I intend to put them to use. Because I want to have one here, 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 and this is going to contain all of our wonderful goodies. For the transport belt itself, I think I'll restrict it to 4 stacks. For the undergrounds, just 1 stack, and the same for the splitters. And then we'll use undergrounds to pull all this material through, like so. Oh. There we go. Looks like I got a little clumsy with my fingers. I thought somehow I had gotten stuck on the assembly machine. I was going to say, wow, that's weird, but okay. It's not so weird when you accidentally open up Command Console, though, and find that you're just like that. I think I had to change that to a different key, or, probably just watch what I'm doing. Just keep a much closer eye. Okay, so we'll drag this on over here. There we go. We'll just drop this straight in. A bada bing and a bada boom. And no, I do not remember where I picked up that little saying from. How do I want to... Okay. We'll just cut this across there. You can still take it there. Perfect. Split that. Take that. Run that. Now we have iron down there. We have iron gears that'll come in here. So let's split that in line. We'll take this one up and run it right into there. Perfect. Connect that up to our little main trunk there. This, because of its location, we'll just, there we go. Place that in there. I wonder. I was debating, getting maybe a little too anxious with making these gears. I was gonna maybe put it on the second row there, but right now they're doing exactly what I need them to do. Okay, so there's transports. Oh, yeah, if you're wondering why everything else wasn't working, it would help if it actually got some transport belts to proceed on with its recipe. Okay, next thing on the list is probably going to be assemblers. Those are always necessary. Then red inserters, or not assemblers, but inserters I mean. So I want these three here, the regular yellow, the red, and the fast, because I'm always going to use them. And so, just like my transport belts over there, the core ingredient, the yellow inserter, I'm going to put right here, and it'll spread out to either side on an output, as well as to its own box. There we go. We'll keep putting the boxes right in the middle. It's working well for us so far. So we'll keep that going. We'll make this red-handed, or the long-handed, and we'll make this the quick or the fast, however you want to describe it. And we'll get back to using every possible underground belt in the world. And I know this looks like a lot of underground belts, and it really is, but it kind of saves a little bit of space. And if I happen to need to grab gears or green circuits, I can just run up to this belt, get them both at the same time, and never have to worry. So that's all progressing. We're just going to restrict these to one stack, and one stack. Might have to adjust that later, but I really don't think so. Okay, green circuits, iron plates, and inserter. Gear wheel, iron plates, and inserter. So, and that needs gears, plates, and green circuits. There we go. So that gets us inserters. Anything else I'm going to need a lot of? I mean, there's a lot of things I'm going to need a lot of. So, let's start going down the list here. Assembly machines. Always need assembly machines. And we'll eventually need assembly machines too, but I don't have steel. But I can plan for that. I think I know what I want to do at the end of this arcade. But we'll get there when we get there. For now, let's focus on what I can make. Or, telling me I should focus on what I can make. So, assembly machine ones. We'll make those in an assembly machine one. If I haven't cut down on these gaps here between processes that don't feed each other, like these red-handed inserters and these underground belts. Even though it would technically save space, and I might be able to stretch a power pole across two of them. In fact, I know I could. I want to keep the spacing even, in case maybe I need to bring a material across these lines. I can bring it in between here and just, underground weave. Make as some people think about it, make a right mess of it. As other people have thought about it. Clever use of all available resources and techniques. Alright. Still got a box, so we're going to keep plugging along until I run out of iron boxes, I think. There we go. And we'll need one to come out over here. And we'll restrict this once again to just one square. For most of what I'm going to do here, I'm going to try to use assembly machine 1s. And I'm going to try to hold off upgrading to assembly machine 2s for as long as possible, for this very reason. Assembly machine 1s, we currently have 55 of them, pumping out 2 megawatt, or sucking up 2 megawatts of power. If we go look at their individual consumption, it's 75 kilowatts, but it's double for assembly machine 2s, which means I would go from using 2 megawatts to power all this machinery, or at least all the assembly machines, to 4, and that'll just keep getting worse. And so as I look at that power, I'm thinking, I just want to wrap this up. So 5, 10, 5. Whoop. Yeah, we need them anyways. And 5 of those, and we'll just double our output for power in this episode too. While this isn't getting us any closer necessarily to getting military science or getting blue science or getting oil production, what this is doing is, for me at least, making it much easier to build those points. This is kind of future-proofing my factory. None of this is absolutely necessary the way it stands, but all of the pieces I am making are. So instead of handcrafting them or having them scattered out and about the factory as I remember to make them, I'm just going to have them all available, all right here. So it'll be the same place every time. And I don't have to worry about where I have to go to get my equipment to build something else. So these electric mining drills, should I? You know what, I'm always going to use them for copper, coal, iron, and stone. So let's make some of those too. Especially since all the resources are already here for everything else. Right, those are going to use... Oh. Cool, I can swap that for a yellow. Because it's not going... And I think I'll swap that for a yellow. In the case of how I'm putting this together, while I'm not worried about using, say, fast inserters for absolutely everything for maximum production speed, the reason for that is because I don't need maximum production speed. These are the things I need at irregular intervals. I don't need a constant feed of any of this equipment, but I want to have it available so when I do go to build something, I just come over here, pick up what I need, and go on and build it, and then it replenishes the stock over time. I don't think there we go. Just a little cleanup and maintenance there. So, give me 1 second. We have a kitty who's wanting to play. It's getting a little close to his dinner time, and he's wondering why I haven't started feeding him yet. So, there we go. We have miners coming online. We have assembly machines coming online. See, we already have 50 assembly machine 1s, 50 fast inserters, 50 yellow inserters, 50 reds. Everything except for the transport belts is full, and those are almost there. And that's just been in the past 15 minutes or so since I started making this. So it really does pay for itself. It really does save some time. That way I can focus on making the individual equipment as necessary when I'm on a build. So here we are. We'll just put down some lights so this can be illuminated when it's darker. And eventually I will go to night vision goggles, I think. But even then, that just kind of grays everything out. Now you can see it better, but it makes everything gray. So I'm just going to add lights while waiting for things to build. Oh good, got all the things built up for the power. Here we go. There we go, there's some useful lights. I also like using lights because when I look at map mode, like I said, everything kind of gets washed out with night vision goggles, maybe with the map mode too, depending on how you're looking at it, or if it's all kind of monotone, or very similarly shaped items like copper plates and iron plates. You know, I think the lights just make it look so much easier to understand, easier to read. At least for me when I'm looking at it. And ultimately, I have always believed that if you think it makes it look better, if you think it makes everything easier, then at the very least, it does for you. So if if you want to follow along and play Factorio, but you don't like any of the builds I'm using, you don't like how I put things together, and you want to go off and do it some different way, or you have a different theory, or you think I'm just completely wrong, I'm playing Factorio incorrectly, and that this isn't the way the game should be played, then I'm okay with that. I really am. That's fine. However you want to play, whatever makes the game better for you. I'm a big advocate for. I'm not here to tell anybody how to play. I'm not here to be an expert. I'm just here to show people how I do it, how I play the game. Yeah, maybe share my fun, share my delight. Automobilism or modular armor, or modular armor first, and then stack inserters. Now stack inserters, I don't use them too often, the actual inserter. They handle a whole stack of items and put them into an assembly machine or a chest at the same time. But the reason I get stack inserter right away this early is for, let's see, there's inserter capacity 1, inserter capacity bonus 2. And what that does is, actually let's go back and I'll show you. What this does is it adds another +1 to our stack inserters. So they go from stacking 2 to 3 to 4. But what it also does is it makes non-stack inserters, i.e. every other inserter, have a higher stack size that it can move at a time. So instead of moving one item at a time, they'll move 2. And at that point, standard yellow inserters start moving as many items in a given amount of time as fast inserters, and fast inserters move as many items in a given amount of time as stack inserters, and stack inserters move just a humongous amount of material. So here we are. We have this built up. What I'm going to do is copy this. I'm going to flip it, paste it right about here, and I have no intention of actually using these exact, actually never mind, I'm going to paste it right about, there we are, and I have no desire to actually use these exact measurements or even these same recipes. What I'm doing is reserving space to extend this out, because one of the things that's going to happen is I'm going to take from here, start feeding into these machines, which will feed into here, and what these will be is upgrades. So it'll be red transport belts, undergrounds, and splitters, upgraded inserters over here. So for instance, the filter inserter, which uses fast inserters. And if I can just check it real quick, the stack inserter uses also fast inserters. This might get a little wonky. Filter inserters use stack inserters, and so on. So I'm just going to continue this down this way. Like I might make this another fast inserter assembly machine. Make this a what do they call it? Filter inserter machine, and then put a stack inserter machine here and a filter stack here. And then over here, this will probably become something else. This will become assembly machine 2s, and so on and so forth. And that's the plan. That's the future proofing I'm attempting here. And I'm actually leaving the extra line in place, because as we go along we're going to be adding more and more ingredients to advance the, for lack of a better term, the tech tier of these intermediate materials. So we're just going to continue this out. And with that mall going, I think the one last thing I'm going to do is add one more line of iron, if I can. So I'm going to pick up splitters, all the belt, all the undergrounds, all the long-handed inserters. We're going to add those to the quick bar. Don't need any yellows, could use some fast, could use some assembly machines, could use all the electric miners. And we're going to come on down here. I have plenty of furnaces to do this. And for this iron line, we're going to just drop it in right here. And I'm going to cut this video off sharply at 30 minutes. So if I don't get all of this done, no worries. It's all something I've shown on the channel before. But I want to do it again just to show the comparative speed when I'm not handcrafting everything I'm making. And then I'll probably do this again when I get to robots. I'll just start slapping down these copy-paste blueprints, essentially. And then show you how quickly, well, hopefully show you how quickly things can be produced when you don't even have to be there, or I don't have to be there, to get them making. I also want to show off something that I've tested, finally found to work all the time, and that is with the blueprints here with these power poles. I can start offsetting it, hold down, left click, and just run. And it will nowadays place power poles everywhere there's a power pole in the blueprint and nowhere else. Before it used to just put out a string of power poles or set them at max distance apart, which used to be the, and still is, one of the quality of life features of the game. So I'll just drop these inserters in, and for this part I'm still as slow as I've always been. Let's worry about the input side first. That's the side that matters. That's what lets these furnaces actually start doing something, or at least the thing I want them to do, which is make iron. And in that vein, I probably should have worried about getting my iron miners down, but that's okay. This is all going to happen, hopefully, very quickly. So, what do we have here? Okay, this is coming around up here. We have plenty of space here to put down more. Do I want to split this off? No, I think I'll just start a whole new line. Just keep it neat, tidy, predictable. Is that stone? Nope, that is iron. Goodness. That's 13. Can't really take from here without getting copper, right? Nope. So we'll drop it down. And we'll just have to make up for everything right here. I would much prefer having these, and there's 20, so that means I have 30 here total. And yes, I would much prefer having my miners meet up, or match up, be nice and symmetrical. But it's not the biggest concern I have. Mostly I want to get them down and exploit as much of this patch as I can. Yeah, that'll work out. Yeah. Later on, when I have the luxury of time and maybe bots to do all this for me, I can, you know, spend the moments looking around going, oh, well, if we shift this over, it'll be delightfully symmetrical. In my bad overthinking it voice here. Missed one over there. Okay, we'll just restring that power bolt to reach out and actually help its buddy out here. There we go. Okay, so that's 30. We'll run this guy up. And I'm not worried about balancing this line of iron like I did the line of iron and the line of copper, strictly because I have 15 miners on each side. So with that, it means I'm putting in the same amount of ore on each side of the belt. And if I'm putting in the same amount of ore on each side, then it starts off balanced. And now we just put in the inserters, and I've hit time. So ladies and gentlemen, out of camera work and out of reference, I will add in these inserters to this line. And we have actually accomplished a pretty good deal. We've doubled our power output today. I have been able to start up an independent gear production, an iron gear production here, so I can start an arcade or a shopping mall, which is well, we'll get into it in depth later, what kind of shopping mall this is, but we now have intermediate resources being automatically processed and manufactured. So, with that, thank you everybody. I hope you have a great evening, and I will catch you on the next episode. Goodbye.